ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team. The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air.
Make this game your finest hour.
Now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Deucey Moose himself, Zach Stanley.
Hello, Jonald. It's good to be here today. I would like to take a moment and congratulate Seth. He got a text message yesterday that he won a free trip to Tahiti, and evidently he thought it was real, so he is far gone by now, and we have Nick here.
Yeah, we do. Seth Young's not here. I actually was told in another text or tweet, or none of this is real anyways, that he was on a snowshoeing expedition in Nepal. So I don't know who's getting the correct information, but instead of Seth Young, we have SFL family member Nick Stablenko and all.
Turn on your radio? Can I say that? Turn on your radio.
You can
No?
say whatever you'd like.
You've got the airtime right now.
I can? All right. Well, what I'd like to start with is...
this would be great. Go ahead.
Hockey?
Well, I see. Okay. You had to bring up hockey.
Of course I did. It's back.
I think you're... Yes, it is back. It's been back for a couple days.
Nick knows his hockey.
I do.
This is very true. Zach and I quiver in the corner when hockey's mentioned. Listeners, if you're listening and you're also scared off by hockey, we are talking daily fantasy basketball today. We're breaking down our lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We're breaking down Saturday NBA as well. But in between, we have Jonald's mailbag, and I do believe there are some hockey questions from our loyal, amazing listeners. Or Nick.
I can't wait for a little mailbag action. I have a good feeling Judge Judy is going to participate.
I think you're actually incorrect today. What did you just assume?
I need her.
You just assume, I think we said...
Where are you, Judith?
Yeah, we mentioned on Thursday's show that Judge Judy got a little bit scared off because Seth told her to take her laptop in the bathtub with her again. He's going to get sued.
Well,
he really is.
And that's probably the worst person to
Despite all of it, I do
too.
hope that he's alive right now.
Oh, Seth?
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth Young, if you are listening to the show, we really hope you're doing well and you're enjoying your expedition into snowshoeing, whatever you're doing. Coming up after the break, we're talking NBA lineups for Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Nick Bonsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
That's right, voiceover guy. It is time to break down our NBA lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Friday. It's a 9-game slate tonight, right? We got 9 NBA games to talk about.
Yeah, and it's actually 7, I think.
No, yesterday, I believe. Oh, it is 7, because you're right.
Tomorrow's 9.
Saturday's 9. Man, we look at so much research every single day. You wonder why I don't know what day it is.
I've got so many games in my head.
Yeah. Jarrett Jack good today? No, sorry. That's Seth's in my head.
Feel free to tweet us, because Seth isn't here, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah,
he likes to talk about not tweeting us, but please.
Yeah, please say
something.
Send in your tweets to @SFL Show. Tell us how you're doing on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We'll compare some notes, see how you're doing, see who you like. We're always here to answer questions.
We're here to help.
That is true. That's why we have Jonald's mailbag, to help our sometimes famous listeners, right?
And Teddy Bear 2 is here. That's Nick.
Teddy Bear 2? Teddy Bear 2 is here. All right, you know what?
1.5?
Teddy Bear, you're going to walk us through your lineup, but first we're going to tell our new listeners who haven't heard how to play daily fantasy basketball. We're going to break it down pretty basically. $100,000 salary cap, 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility, any player you want. Got to stay under that $100,000 salary cap. You get the most points, you win the most money. Pretty easy, right?
Just build the best team that you can.
Oh, just no big deal. You just got to do all the research and know the guys. Nick, do you got this?
I mean, I had this previously, but apparently I'm not doing so well. The scoreboard between you and I has shifted.
Yeah, Nick came onto the show guns blazing, claiming how when he started working at Star Fantasy Leagues that he was beating me right off the bat, badly.
He was hot.
He was hot. I had a couple. I put in a couple of teams in the free games just to try some things out.
I think that's a little bit of luck of the rookie, Nick.
It is.
We're going to see now. Now you want to bring that up?
Yeah,
Fine.
I think I've won 6 or 7 in a row now. But what are you going to do? No big deal.
Play some hockey then, huh?
No, I won. The last time we talked hockey on this show, I actually won. So we're not even going to do that.
All right.
Yeah, that was a problem. All right, let's start out with your lineup. Tell us who you got in there. Zach and I will critique. Tell us how you did.
I won't rip it apart as much as usual.
Unless you pull a Seth lineup.
Yeah. Which I don't think is even possible.
There's potential today. There is. Because I've been so focused on hockey that I don't know that I put my due diligence
That's
in.
a crappy
Seth had
excuse.
an A in last night, so.
Okay.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to start off with my personal play of the night. Can I do that? Is that allowed? I can do that?
It's the SFL show.
Yeah,
man.
I already gave my play of the night for Friday last night. So.
This is true.
Well, I wasn't listening, so I'm sorry. Shame on me. I have Rudy Gay.
Oh, my. That would happen to be Zach's play of the day as well. Yeah,
that was it.
Rudy Gay is on fire when DeMarcus Cousins is out, and DeMarcus has proven yet again that he doesn't know how to act any bit more mature than a 5-year-old.
I'm going to cut you off right there. We may or may not hear from that later, so continue.
All right.
We may or may not, meaning, of course, we obviously
We're going to discuss that.
Yes,
All
correct.
right, sounds good. I have Ben McLemore from Sacramento in.
Who?
McLemore?
I think this is
Is he that rapper guy?
Ryan McLemore?
I think this is a interesting pick.
See, he would know. If Seth said this, he would rip you apart.
Rip me apart.
Ben McLemore is a guy that has been getting a lot of minutes since Marcus Thornton got traded,
Yeah,
which
that's
is nice,
his spot, yeah.
except for the fact that he is extremely inconsistent and doesn't have a high ceiling anyways.
And he can't shoot the ball.
I really don't know what's wrong with him, honestly. He got some garbage points last game, which made him look a little more tempting tonight. But I think for the price, there's a couple guys out there that you can pick that would be better options. But maybe you have them in there, too. I don't know.
I mean, my
might
biggest
be
thing
true.
is that, he was a value pick. I mean, he's going to get the minutes, and as we know, if you're on the floor, you stand to earn some points. So
My thing right now with that is it's looking more and more like Goran Dragic is not going to play. Is it Dragic?
Yeah, Dragic.
We say that every time, yeah. And I think you guys. I always said Dragic, and you guys started saying it. And now I'm mixing it up. But Ish Smith, who had an unbelievable game last game, and honestly, even 2 out of the 3 games before that, he put up close to 30 fantasy points, getting like 29 minutes in each of those games, and he is lower than that right now.
yes, he is, and
he's going up against Brian Roberts, who I don't think he could guard anybody at this point. He's really little. He's a small guy.
He is a little guy. He honestly has been able to do halfway decent and hold them around a ranking of 19 or 20.
Yeah, they're at 20th right now, but that includes the beginning of the year with Drew Holiday,
Right.
who is a fairly decent defender.
Yeah, last 15, I think they're still sitting right around there.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
He's not very solid. If you got a talented guy in there, and Ish Smith took 15 shots last night, and he likes to spread around the stat column. So
see, the good news is that I will definitely have him in my lineup, pending that Dragic actually is not going to play. So
that makes sense.
So if it turns out that Dragic does play, I kind of hedge my bets. I don't know if that's okay, but I hedge my bets and I put.
John, I hate to say, I just took a glance at Nick's lineup, and,
no.
and we're going to have a little something to say
Good.
about this.
Let's go through this. I love tearing things apart. You're tearing me apart, Nick.
All right, I hedge my bets on a couple of value picks. I put Patty Mills and Corey Joseph in.
Wrong. I wish I had Arnold Schwarzenegger here today again. Wrong. Don't do that.
Why is that?
You're killing me right now.
Why?
They are the most inconsistent backcourt duo I've seen in a while. They are frustrating.
They could potentially both do poorly.
That is
both.
That is very. There are games where they're both under 15 fantasy points. There are games where they're both combined under 15 fantasy points.
There's games where they both get pulled out, and Marco Bellinelli gets more minutes, and Danny Green, and now that Kawhi Leonard's back, it's even more damaging because you know that Popovich isn't going to have a problem putting Green and Leonard out there at the same time.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. If you have Corey Joseph right now, he is at about 5,400 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. What are you looking for out of him if let's say, he does play a fair enough amount of minutes? What are you looking for out of him in fantasy points? What's his value?
I think you'll be happy with somewhere around 13 to 15 points. But I do think on a night like this, there's 7 games, you're going to need to hit value on him. And I think you're going to need to get a little bit more than that if you want to compete, particularly because, one, Brow may be out tonight.
Yep.
Which hinders everything. And then there's only so many options up top when you're looking at Carmelo. Cousins is out.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, a lot of the top guys are out.
You can look at Durant, obviously, but there's only so many guys. You're looking at possibly building a more rounded lineup tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah, we discussed this on Thursday's show. Today is definitely one of those days. There's a couple big guys out, like you said. it's more of a well-rounded day, like with the Isaiah Thomases and the Rudy Gays. I like both Gasols tonight. If you can build the 15,000 for 4 or 5 guys, that gets you a really nice rounded lineup.
Yeah, and although Kemba isn't known for his defense,
I have Kemba as well.
Although he's not known for his defense, I still think he can handle these guys easily.
Yeah, that is. They're not blowing anybody out of the water. We'll say that much. I considered putting Patty Mills, who I think has the better upside of the two. Corey Joseph starts, obviously, but he doesn't really play that much. He's not that good, to be honest. Just not that good.
That's the thing, is I was pretty impressed with him for a few games there.
A few games.
Once Tony, like the few games before Tony went out, he was doing quite well, and then he came in and had a couple good games when Tony went out, and now
he's just fallen off.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna rip you apart for that. But who else?
All right.
Who else do you got in your lineup?
Fair enough. Actually, I have another question for you on this one.
Oh, goody.
I have Kevin Durant in. I know that's not really a question.
So that's why you have all these value picks, and you went for the home run pick.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Memphis is very well known for their defense. Kevin Durant obviously plays against them frequently enough. Do you still think he's going to hit his value tonight?
He's matchup proof, but I feel like for the money, I think Rudy Gay is just as capable of putting up a 50-point game as Kevin Durant, and you save $8,000 to $9,000.
Kevin Durant does like to torch Memphis over the past few years.
Well, he's got Tayshaun Prince basically on him.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a joke.
But I'm telling you, this whole thing with Westbrook just has me astir. I don't know what's going to happen from night to night. Westbrook's getting more minutes. Durant had a great game last game. I think he could produce fine tonight. He usually likes to get going against Memphis. This is a contentious matchup. These guys have met in the playoffs, so they don't like to play each other.
Yeah.
They don't like each other in general. All right, round out your lineup. What do you got?
At center, I have Markieff Morris and Joakim Noah.
I am perfectly
okay
with both of those.
I don't have a problem with either of those plays.
I think I actually have both of those in my lineup tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton that I really liked at the center position, though. And that's why I put both of those guys in. I think Markieff Morris is going to have a ton of minutes. He's playing really well. Save for the last game, I think they got blown apart pretty badly, so he didn't really get a whole lot of time.
All right, come on, Nick. Drop that last name you got up there. I see him.
Jarrett Jack.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
Why?
Seth Young is we're being channeled by the ghost of Seth Young, who always brings up Jarrett Jack every day. Today is actually not the worst time that you can put in Jarrett Jack.
Yeah, Jarrett Jack loves to get 40 minutes per game and get like 15 fantasy points.
He does. He's very frustrating. He's a little bit overpriced for what he gives you.
And his ceiling is like 27.
Sadly, his ceiling is 20. I mean, if he gets 30, you're really, really excited. Like, extremely excited, right?
I basically put him in there because I see a lot of injuries in Cleveland, and I don't know. I guess I'm reaching there.
You are reaching. It's true. It's all right. Your lineup wasn't too terrible. But coming up after the break, we're going to talk Jonald's Mailbag, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Jonald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy Leagues team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Did you guys hear that?
I heard it. I hear it every time, and it never gets old.
It never gets old to hear, read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
And thank goodness we don't have Seth here thinking he was the guy that actually recorded that.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. We actually found out it was somebody from the Andy Griffith Show, right?
That's what we believe. We did a little research.
Yeah, or we were told by our producer, Scott, during the break who it actually was, and I still don't remember.
No.
Some guy I don't know. He's dead?
One of our developers believes that to be the case.
Yeah, this is probably, we have absolutely
He is fairly reliable with the history of pop culture in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, exactly, because he's 100 years old.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. Since Seth isn't here, we don't get to hear it's mailbag time.
Mailbag?
Yeah, I'll do it. All right, but we're starting out John's mailbag with Father Mohagan, of course. Did you catch the fight in the New Mexico State-Utah Valley game? Is the WAC playing animal ball?
Very sad.
Did you guys actually see this?
Yeah, that was really sad. I don't understand why any fans think they have any right to get into a physical altercation with a player.
It was just one guy, right, who just, socked a player in the face?
Well, I mean, the issue that's being raised is the rushing the court, and I really don't think that you need to completely eliminate that, but come on, people. Like, have a little bit of respect. You don't need to go out there and start fights with people. That's just immature.
First off, who rushes the court in a game between two whack rivals? It's like
they were the top in the conference.
Okay.
I mean,
it's so rare that you get to rush the court.
I think it's overrated.
I think it's a little ridiculous to the degree that fans rush the court in college sports.
I rushed one time in my 3 years at Syracuse, and we beat number 1 Notre Dame, I believe.
It ends up only really mattering in the conference championships. They don't rush the court there because nobody is actually the home team.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the only other time it would matter would be in the tournament, and nobody is the home team there. So it doesn't happen there. So the fact that it happens throughout the season when anybody knocks off a top 10 team is just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, unless it's the number 1 team in the country, unless it's like UNC knocking off Duke at home when they're like the number 5 seed. I'm okay with that because it's such a big rivalry. But Utah Valley, New Mexico State, Southern Baptist,
it used to be cool. I think just to the point where things have escalated to with how popular these sports are now and the degree of media attention that they get. All that stuff involved, it has created more altercations than it used to.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to the New Mexico State coaches, though. They did a really good job of getting their players out of there. I don't know if anybody saw that.
And then they
literally bear-hugged them and dragged them off the court.
And then they immediately suspended the guy who basically caused it by
Rightfully
throwing a ball at somebody in the game.
That was a baby move. That was an immature little kid move.
He threw it apparently at the coach's son, too, to make it all even worse.
Right.
That was kind of ridiculous.
It's just terrible.
All right, yeah.
I've done that before.
Of course you have, Zach. Nobody condones this except Zach, obviously. All right, that's a good point to move on. Duke Webelos writes, we haven't heard from Duke in a while. Which buyout signing will make the most impact for their new team? Danny Granger on the Clippers, Caron Butler on the Thunder, Glenn Davis on the Clippers, or potentially Jimmer on the Bulls? That's right, Jimmer's in talks to sign with the Bulls.
That's our boy, upstate New York.
I think it's Danny Granger. I do. And the reason being is that he's got a good coach right now, a guy that what we're looking at is that J.J. Redick is in more trouble than we initially thought.
Yeah,
he might end up being out for a while, which means Danny Granger is going to be a crucial piece to any run that they make.
And Crawford's hurt right now. He's missing about 2 or 3 games. That could spiral down if it's a nagging injury. Then you're missing both of your 2 guards.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see him get some more minutes and see whether he actually has lost it or it just took him a while to get back into the groove of things.
Yeah, I mean, he really kind of tapered off pretty badly there in Indiana, and that was kind of sad. He was really the only piece of the puzzle in Indiana for a long time.
For like 4 or 5 years, yeah.
So, I mean, to say that he's completely dropped off, I don't think that's true. So I'm definitely curious to see that. I want to see where Caron Butler fits in, though.
I think he's going to play that Kevin Martin role that he had last year up for the Thunder. They need a shooter. Jeremy Lamb's not there. Perry Jones isn't there yet. Mm-hmm. This is a veteran who can shoot the ball. You're going to have wide open shots, and Caron Butler can knock down wide open shots.
Yeah, they needed to get somebody like this because somebody with a veteran presence too. He's been around. He's been here before.
He's a good locker room guy too.
Yeah, he's a good locker room guy, and it just doesn't seem like Jeremy Lamb is ready to pan out yet.
Yeah, he won't play. He won't be in the playoff potential.
It's such a revolving door with Cephalosha and Fisher and all these guys that they bring off the bench. I think he could serve a good piece over there.
Yeah, and God forbid Russell Westbrook takes another injury.
Yeah,
I mean, if that happens, Caron Butler is going to be a very, very happy addition.
I think the most confusing signing is Glenn Davis on the Clippers. They needed a third big man, but they got the smallest big man on the market. Like, what are they thinking behind DeAndre and Blake? Don't you need a big guy who can like bruise and play some defense?
I don't really mind it. I think that they made the best moves of anybody.
Oh, they definitely did.
You don't want Collins over Big Baby. I think Collins, like if they play Dwight Howard in the first or second round, you don't want Jason Collins to guard Dwight Howard.
Well, but the other thing is that DeAndre and Blake are going to be out there against the number ones, so you got to have you have to have a little bit of a mixed bag there because
nobody can guard Dwight Howard on a team.
No, Glenn Davis is actually a guy that brings a scoring presence.
That's very true.
And Nick Collison has none of that, so I think it is an asset for them.
He's also a guy that he's a little bit smaller, but if you roll out a smaller lineup against them, maybe he could actually factor in pretty nicely.
He's also slow as all hell.
Sure, but you know what? You put a guy like him with enough girth down.
Yeah, he's a wide load, and he has no problem pushing around down there.
Apologies to Big Baby Davis for calling him a wide load on the air.
Don't cry.
Actually, no, that's fine.
Don't cry.
He wears a sign on his butt.
Tweet us at SFL Show if you agree with our wide load Davis comments.
Or
and,
if you just want to say something about how glad you are that Seth isn't here.
This is true. Tweet us at SFL Show, obviously. We love to hear your comments. We're not going to talk about Seth Young anymore, even though he tweets us and messages us while the show is going on, even though he's not on it.
Yeah, Seth, good luck with your American Idol audition.
Yeah, good reception wherever he is in Nepal. It's pretty nice. All right, moving on. This is Nick's favorite question in the world.
Here we go.
Wayne Gretzky writes, the NHL trade deadline is next week. I wanted to know which big-name players you think might get traded and what type of fantasy impact that might have.
First of all, I just want to say what an honor.
It's a great one.
A great one.
No,
this is a great one.
This is Wayne Gretzky from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'm sorry. This is not the Wayne Gretzky you were thinking of.
Man, what an unfortunate name for you to have.
That's like Michael.
Fortunate.
You ever see the FedEx commercial with Michael Jordan where people keep like bringing him packages like it's Michael Jordan? It's like, oh, it's not Michael Jordan.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of Michael Jordans out there.
This is true.
There's a lot of big names being thrown around for the trade deadline in the NHL. A lot of fantasy implications going along with that. Ryan Miller is probably, in my opinion, the biggest name being thrown around. It's Tim Murray, the GM for Buffalo. He's come out and basically said that it's inevitable in a sense. They're trying really hard. They're trying to move him. It's been a really long run for Miller, and I know that all of our listeners in Buffalo, however many you may be, are going to be very upset.
You just way oversold it. Listener, not in Buffalo.
Our
just
listener in Buffalo.
One.
Go Bills.
I think Ryan Miller to the Blues is probably the biggest bit of news that's being thrown around out there. It seems like a very likely fit. That would be great for them. The Blues.
Would he be like an instant starter on that team?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ryan Miller's going to be an instant starter no matter where he goes, but it's just a matter of who can actually put up the value. I've said this a lot over the past couple of days, but I think that the Sabres waited way too long to do this. They should have done this last year. Everybody knows what their hand is now. They know that the Sabres want to get rid of Ryan Miller. They're going to lowball him. And really, for Miller, you need to get a first-round draft pick, a couple of really good players to build some pieces around there.
Nick, let's say they get Miller out of there. What is your thought on Jonas Enroth?
He was on Team Sweden. He can be a good goalie, but
do you think he's a long-term solution?
God, that's a good question.
Is he a guy you can build around?
No, I don't think so. I think that if you got a second goalie in there, a good backup, you could do a little. Actually, the Sabres did that in the past with Baran and Miller. You could do a little 1-2 there. Henroth has had a really rough season, but the Sabres have had a rough season all around. I mean, it's kind of tough to get a read on him. You know what? I think that Miller is definitely going to get moved. We'll see what happens. We all know the Sabres are down the tube for this year and probably for next year as well. It'll be interesting to see where he goes.
What did you think about Pegula coming in and making all these statements about how he was going to produce for the team and really just basically not write a check and give them a blank check?
Well, I don't necessarily think he made a lot of promises for a team. I think he said, I'm going to open up the checkbook. But it's really up to the GM to make those moves, and they made some terrible moves. They signed Ville Laino in the offseason, the very first season. That was probably the worst signing I think they've had in the past 5 to 10 years. Yeah. That was really bad.
All right, for our listeners in Rochester and Buffalo, this has been a great conversation, but we need to move on. We're going to talk NHL trade deadline up to Wednesday. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll talk trade deadline for hockey. So, Nick, you'll be here.
Where's Arnold?
You'll get more talk.
Back.
No, Arnold's not
back.
Arnold did not say
we have
that
one more
anymore.
question we have to get to today because this one's time-sensitive, obviously. Courtney Kirkland, the referee. Yeah, that's him. After yet another on-court incident, DeMarcus Cousins has been suspended for Friday's game against the Lakers. Will he ever truly get it?
No. I'm just going to say it. No, he's not.
I'd like to tell you some stats. These are incredible stats. Rasheed Wallace, who I compared DeMarcus Cousins to Sheed on Thursday's show. Sheed had 26 ejections, 317 technicals in 16 years.
But don't you love him?
Wait, hold on. Yeah, but listen to these projections. On his current pace, DeMarcus Cousins is going to have 32 ejections and 232 technicals by the time he plays the same amount as Rasheed Wallace. That's incredible.
I dare to say this is good for the NBA.
Oh, come on.
Somebody with this type of fire that makes headlines.
Is it fire, though? He's just a
He is. He's an intense guy. And honestly, what I have seen in his play, now, you guys might not watch as many games as I have, but watching DeMarcus Cousins, he has improved drastically, and he is going to be a great, great player in this league. The man has a temper. Doesn't mean Rasheed Wallace wasn't great. He was great.
Can I question your use of language there? You said it's a good thing for the NBA. Do you think it's going to be more positive in the sense that it increases the amount of people that watch the game? or are you saying that it's good for the image of the NBA? Because I would say it's terrible.
It's terrible.
Like the Malice in the Palace was terrible for the image of the NBA.
Well,
but
he's not.
Plenty of
let's
people
not
started
compare
watching
it to that.
Okay, but I'm just saying you're talking about a violent presence in the NBA. The guy is out of line all the time.
Well, this incident was a little more out of line than most, but I like to see guys get fired up for games that most people think don't matter.
I don't know. I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is ever going to get
I'm with you,
really,
DeMarcus.
I really don't think he is. He's an immature little baby, man.
Zach's with DeMarcus Cousins. Coming back, we're going to talk Saturday.
Grow up. You're making millions.
Saturday NBA on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
The Star Fantasy League show is now part of the Nick Monsanto show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
Right now, guys, we have all the updated information you need at this current moment, this second. Voiceover guy, what are you seriously, what's he talking about?
He's a little out of control sometimes.
I think Seth left, and he's like a puppy that has separation anxiety. He's just getting uncomfortable. He's saying weird things. He's acting all
He's putting
strange.
his head down in the corner of his cage.
Yeah,
playing Jenga.
Put another blanket on. No, Seth said he got Trivial Pursuit or something yesterday, right?
Yeah, that's true, but the guy totally likes Jenga.
Yeah, that's true. I like playing Jenga when I'm not. Nick, do you know he plays Jenga, right?
What, the voiceover guy?
Yeah,
the cage guy.
Really?
Yeah.
He play like on his own?
Yeah, by himself.
He plays, yeah.
I mean,
he has a friend, but the friend is not actually there.
It's not real.
Yeah, it's an imaginary friend.
So he goes on the other side of the Jenga.
I have a feeling I would make an imaginary friend if I spent 23 and a half hours in a cage every day.
That is probably true. Actually, it's 23 hours because we have an hour show. Nick, come on. An hour. You're not Tony Reale doing your 23 and a half hour break.
Fine.
I thought he does all the stuff right from the cage.
He does.
So he's in there 24 hours.
Yeah, but he's not engaged with people the whole time.
He gets human contact.
All right, we're moving on. We spent too much time talking about our voiceover guy. We don't even know his name. Does he have a name? No idea. Don't care. All right, we are talking
Darwin.
Sure. We're talking Saturday NBA on StarFantasyLeagues.com. It's another one of those days, Zach. You got a lot of games going on. I believe there's 9 on the slate. Only 4 teams in a back-to-back, and 2 of them are playing each other. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot of different places to go. Where do you want to start today? I'm letting you choose. Usually I start with the game.
Okay, I'm quite excited. Why don't we start with the Washington-Philly game?
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is definitely one of the more attractive games of the evening.
Hold on, Nick. Nick, are you gonna participate in this conversation? Because Seth, whenever we talk about the next day's basketball, Seth just completely shuts down and says stupid Jared Jack things.
Yeah, and for the people that are watching on YouTube, you know when that is because Seth just stares at the camera.
That is very true.
Faces.
I was actually going to go with that game as well. I think that was the very first game that caught my eye. I mean, the 76ers are bad.
Very true. All right, Zach, tell us why you look towards this game and who you like.
Well, Philly's entire defense is Swiss cheese, as we know.
Is that a technical term? Swiss cheese defense?
Yes.
Yeah, they're bottom 2 in every
like
position.
A sieve. Oh, wait, that's a hockey term. Sorry.
Whoa. Whoa.
Nick, we let you on the show. You can't just be bringing hockey terminology
you got your 4 minutes.
into the basketball segment.
Yeah, you got 4 minutes of hockey talk today. Go away. You're done.
Okay, so what am I looking at in this game? Well, I got an eye on Bradley Beal, who I really like. This is such a favorable matchup for him. Philly's ranked 29th against shooting guards, but it's not even that. It's going to be fast-paced. This is what he loves. And sometimes John Wall lets his players have a little run in some of these games and gets a little less involved in the offense when he sees people taking care of business.
Well, and this is going to be a blowout, so I feel like Beal will get more of a run than a John Wall.
Yeah, and Beal had 17 points, 8 assists, and 5 boards, and 22 points, 9 assists, and 8 boards the last 2 times that they've played. I think he's in for a big one, and I don't think a lot of people will see it coming immediately unless he's really low.
I would say his salary is probably around the 10 to 12 mark right now on StarFantasyLeagues.com. So he does fit it both in the well-rounded and the value column.
But there's a lot of options out there, though. I don't think that everybody's going to be picking him tomorrow, but I think he is a great spot start.
All right,
and do not look away from Gortat tomorrow.
Yeah, I absolutely. I had Gortat the other day.
Yeah,
I
Gortat
am loving
is
him.
Absolutely a must start tomorrow if you can get him at an affordable price.
Even if he's not affordable, I'm loving him.
He had 19 and 11 and 4. That's 4 blocks, and 19, 12 and 2, 12, 7 and 3 blocks the last few times that they've played. And he has just expanded his role without Nene there. He's needed to. I mean, they can't figure out who to put in at power forward or what they're going to do in that position.
Didn't I see he played like 51 minutes?
Well, yeah, they had
last night?
triple overtime.
Yeah, well,
But
hey,
he
played more
Either
minutes
way.
than some of the other. Like, I think he played more minutes than Wall.
because they have no bigs. They have
I know.
absolutely
I know,
no
and that's
bigs.
what I'm saying is he is literally the only trustworthy big on that team right now that is healthy, and I think he could have one of his best games of the year tomorrow.
Is the Trevor Booker experiment over for you?
I am not starting Trevor Booker tomorrow.
Okay, even though he's a four. I'm having trouble finding a lot of value plays on Saturday's slate, to be honest. I see a couple, but the problem is if you don't get those kind of guys in, you can't put in the big names that you really want to.
Yeah, and the thing is that most of those plays that you're looking at, it's something to keep an eye on because there's nothing confirmed about anybody in particular being out. Really, just some question marks.
I have on my rundown today. I have a lot of question marks, which usually means we got to look at up until the last second to see some injury news, some game time decisions, all that kind of stuff. All right, so are you looking at anybody else? I mean,
I'm also looking at MCW in that game. Honestly, I know the matchup doesn't look as great as you would think, but he has done very, very well against them. And they are having to rely more on him for offense right now with what they've got going on.
What about Thad, man? He's getting up there in salary. He's probably going to be about 15, like maybe low 16s.
He's getting up there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had trouble talking about Thad because I'm so disappointed on my play of the night pick.
One poor game. I think he got, 28?
26 and a half.
It's not the worst result in the world. It's not like he got
terrible
for you.
I thought he was Thaddy Daddy.
Yeah.
Thaddy Daddy.
Where was my Thaddy Daddy?
He's easily
on Wednesday.
In this game, Washington.
Yeah, you've got to look at him for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on, I think there are a couple other games to target. One of them is the Minnesota-Sacramento game. We know DeMarcus Cousins is going to be back. He's only serving a one-game suspension.
Who knows? He might get a technical in the first 3 minutes and be suspended for the next 18 games.
He's still going to participate in a portion of the game.
A portion.
I was going to say, I mean, up to this point, he's actually done okay staying out of trouble this year, right?
If he has one more technical in the season, he gets a one-game suspension.
Is that his first ejection? Does he have two?
That's his first ejection.
Yeah.
But he gets if he gets one more technical, he's out for a game.
Yeah.
He's basically screwing himself.
Okay, well, the thing I would look at in regards to this is if you're looking at matchups, which we love to do, we love to look at positional matchups. Minnesota is very strong against centers, but that was with Pekovic in.
Well, Pekovic might
I know,
play.
he might play. So that's what I'm saying. That is one to keep an eye on because I think Cousins could be a great play if Pekovic is out. As for my buddy, IT2, I love Isaiah Thomas, and I love Isaiah Thomas tomorrow. He had 26 points, 7 assists, 3 boards, and 2 steals the last time that they played.
You know what Ricky Rubio's new nickname on defense is, right?
Swiss?
The turnstile.
Really?
He's the turnstile. He just turns and lets the guy go right by him.
Is that true?
No, I just made that up on the spot. Come on.
I'm okay.
That's
I'm
a good
okay
one,
with that
yeah.
nickname.
Kyrie Irving should really be named the turnstile. He plays no defense. But we mention that every day on the show, just like Zach mentions Mike D'Antoni every day on the show. Every day. That happens.
I can't believe you had to bring him up again.
Well, I didn't see Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm so tired of that.
The
man.
Lakers aren't playing on Saturday, so you can't talk about it. So you just get to go grovel and then move on.
There's one single reliable player on the Lakers. Look at me. You got me ranting on the Lakers.
No, we're not. I'm not going to let you do it. All right, who else do you like in that Minnesota-Sacramento game? Obviously, IT2. Cousins if Pekovic doesn't play. Do you like anybody on Minnesota?
Not really. Honestly, I think Dante Cunningham is worth a look if Pekovic is out because he'll have a pretty favorable matchup.
What about Chase Budinger, He's been
Budinger.
He's been okay. He's really, really low. I played him a couple games. He got 20, 25 points. When you're $5,000 salary on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
The last couple games he hasn't done that well.
I know, but he didn't have favorable matchups. They weren't really going to him. The less players that are on that team playing, the better he's going to be on offense.
Let's just say it depends on what his salary is.
Let me ask you something now. Why don't you like Kevin Love tomorrow? I know he's top dollar, but why don't you like him tomorrow?
Salary.
Purely because of that.
Yeah, salary.
Just because of the salary.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's been because the past couple of games he's put up like
60.
over 50, 60 points.
I know. I just have so much trouble taking guys like that when you're up around 24,000 because you wind up looking at things, and if you don't have the right pieces there to pick a quality player down in the 10 or the 11s, you're like, look at what I can do. I got these two guys at 17 and 16. I got Rudy Gay and Isaiah Thomas, or Damian Lillard, and I can plug two of those guys in. For whoever I got down to 10,000, Randy Foy or whoever.
That's another question, though. What's the status of Aldridge right now? Is he on the
This is
on the
another
path?
one you got to wait on. LaMarcus Aldridge may or may not play.
He's
I don't
out,
see
Lillard's
Aldridge
still
playing,
great.
but yeah, Lillard just had 31, 9, and 7 against Denver Two games ago.
Well,
he
yeah,
absolutely went off, and he had a little bit of an off game, or a very off game.
Yeah, he did.
On Wednesday night, which means his salary could come down a little bit, which makes him even more appealing.
And he's going against Aaron Brooks, who is very undersized.
And Robin Lopez in that game.
I love
12
Robin
points,
Lopez.
10 boards, and 7 blocks. Seven.
I selected him on StarFantasyLeagues.com for that game. He went nuts. I love him in this matchup.
Did you happen to catch any of that game last night?
No, I didn't.
That was one of the worst displays of basketball I've ever seen.
They lost by like 40, didn't they?
They got crushed, and they, I mean, it was done. It was done at the end of the first quarter. It was like 30-9.
Oh yeah, 32-8. I think I remember seeing that.
It was
That's
so.
insane.
I mean, and it wasn't even just that it was a blowout. Like we see blowouts all year long. It was akin to watching that Clippers 76ers game.
Oh man,
that's what it was like.
50-point game.
Like they were just toying with them, and that's the freaking Nets that are toying with them, not the Clippers.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to another game where a couple guys may be injured. Question mark. Boston, Indiana. If Rondo plays, you're looking at Jared Bayless, who went off the other night. Had 29 points, got like 30-something fantasy points. He is going to be starting at the 2 regardless. He may start alongside Phil Pressey, or if Rondo plays, he's going to start alongside Rondo.
Yeah, especially with the recent injury to Wallace.
Yep, he was starting at the 2 beforehand.
Yeah, he's going to get some pretty good minutes no matter what. And if Rondo is in, I think that's actually more favorable to him than Rondo being out.
I completely agree. Phil Pressey's been okay, but he gets assists, but he doesn't get the kind of assists that players around him like.
I have a really tough time playing anybody against Indiana, though.
I mean, we try.
I have a tough time playing anyone on the Celtics.
Okay,
as well.
All right, that's fine. I'm just saying Indiana's such a great defensive team. It's really tough to play them.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only thing that I think is that the points have to come from somewhere, and if you have somebody that's really favorable because they're that low.
Yeah.
Then they're worth a look. But I see what you're saying. One of my cardinal rules of fantasy basketball is to look at matchups. If you got a favorable matchup, and look at value. If you get both of those, you're in good shape.
Yeah, what about the bigs down low though? I mean, Hibbert and West, and they could have a pretty. Celtics don't have anybody down low.
Not
they have
right
no
now.
shape.
They're all hurt. If Sollinger's out, they certainly do.
I'd prefer to
Chris
go
Humphries?
with David West over Roy Hibbert.
We should just not talk about this game.
This is true. Let's move on. We got one more game to talk about. Clippers in New Orleans. I'm actually interested in that game because Anthony Davis, if he plays today or if he plays tomorrow, we're not sure. If he's out, do you like anybody on that team, New Orleans team?
Maybe Ajincha.
Yeah, Jinka. We don't know.
Whatever the hell his name is.
I have him in my lineup on Friday. I have him in my lineup on Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I actually like his value, especially if he's out. But tomorrow I could like him too because the Clippers don't really guard that well in the paint. They're 24th against power forward, 27th against center. Blake and DeAndre, for all they do, they don't seem to really play.
Yeah, they need him to play minutes regardless. And with two big guys like that, they're not going to be putting in Anthony Morrow.
No.
So if Davis is out, he's definitely worth a look. I also think Eric Gordon's worth a look in that case because, like I said, the points need to come from somewhere. He's got a favorable matchup. They don't really have anybody to defend him. And so I think he could have a decent game because they're going to be relying upon him for some scoring.
Do you think Blake could be the big dog tomorrow night?
I think DeAndre will be the big dog on that team.
Really?
The last time they played was just a couple games ago. He had 14 points, 16 boards, 2 assists, and 4 blocks. They played earlier in the year. He had 14 points, 20 boards, and 5 blocks.
Wow.
So what you're saying is...
And that was with the Brow in.
That was probably with the Brow.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what we're assuming
I think 2 games ago he wasn't in, but the first game he wasn't.
I don't think he was 2 games. I think that was actually when he got injured.
When he went out, yeah.
So basically what you're saying is...
No, he went out against Dallas.
Okay, so we're a little bit off.
Whatever.
There. So basically you're saying Davis takes away Griffin a little bit from the offensive and the rebounding, so that DeAndre's just sitting there to get rebounds.
Yeah, I think Blake is a decent option tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he's so expensive.
Yeah, he's so expensive.
CP3 is
and
really
even
expensive.
though it isn't an ideal matchup in terms of the ranking, he hasn't done that well against them this year. He's been around like 32, 33 fantasy points.
Which
both
at his,
times that they played.
at his salary
isn't going to pay off.
That's less than double. Yeah.
And they just don't have anyone to defend Jordan. They have been a good team at defending the center position, but that's mostly because of Anthony Davis.
Yeah, because he basically is the de facto center in that defensive scheme.
Exactly.
Because the other big man is usually Ryan Anderson playing outside, and then de facto, he's in center. All right, go ahead, Zach.
My play of the night, who we didn't get to talk about, is Dwight Howard, ranked against 25th in centers, who had 35 points, 19 boards, 5 assists, 3 blocks and a steal last time they played his best game of the season.
That's up against Detroit. I completely agree. I love Dwight Howard on Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Come back. We're wrapping the show up, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Via Twitter.
Yeah, that is right, Nick. Via Twitter at SFL Show. Since Seth isn't here, thank you again to Nick Stablenko for being on the show. You're going to be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as well as Seth continues his trek in insert country here. What?
I'm sure it'll be something new on Monday.
Yeah, he'll give us a text.
He'll give us an update on wherever
He'll give us a text or a tweet on the Seth Young Travels the Country tour.
I know he was talking about the Andes.
The woman or the mountain?
The mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was just a myriad of women named Andy.
The Andy women?
Like Andy McDowell.
Ooh, it could be. I'm not too sure. All right, where are we going with this, guys?
I think you should just tweet us at SFL Show because I'm getting a little pissed off.
Why?
Because I want to hear from them.
That is true.
And I'll give you $5 if you talk to us.
Ooh, that's exciting. That is actually something we've been offering. There are people who do tweet us, and they're like, well, is this for real? And then we ask them what their username is. They give it to us, and we say, there's $5 in your account on StarFantasyLeagues.com. How hard is it? All you have to do is go on your phone or your computer or your tablet or your anything. Go on anything that has the internet on it and just tweet us at SFL Show. $5 free.
Then you get to play fantasy sports for money every day. I think that's cool. I love it.
Or you know what? If you don't want free money, if you don't like free money, if you just like playing free things, just go on StarFantasyLeagues.com, play in our daily free rolls. $5 every day for NHL, $10 every day for basketball. But Tuesday and Thursday, got those special
$50 free rolls.
$50 Roto Expert free rolls.
It's fantastic. And we got Star Points contests. If you want to play for free, you're not ready to compete with the big money guys just yet, you can work your way up to playing money games by playing both Star Points games at free rolls. It's just too much fun. It's too much fun.
It is. You get to learn more about players than you ever would have.
Everybody in our office thinks that I'm doing something, but really I'm just playing daily fantasy basketball.
You're not doing anything in the office. You're just doing daily fantasy basketball.
Yes.
So I've been,
and tweeting at the other people that are doing it too.
So I've been getting whipped on the daily for absolutely nothing. Great. That's great, man. Thanks a lot.
Nick, step it up. I want a better lineup next time.
All right. Jarrett Jack, you don't get to be in my lineup anymore.
Well, that's what we bring this up every show, man. Why Jarrett Jack? Why is he got to be?
You know why?
Really
you know why?
He's
Can
like
I tell
an
you why?
extension of Seth now.
Can I tell you why real quick? Because I came from San Francisco and I love Golden State.
Okay.
That's why we call you Teddy Bear too.
All right, and if you guys think that Jarrett Jack is all that in the bag of chips, we'll help you make a better lineup next time. Take it easy, guys.